afternoon, and welcome back to Jeff and the Rabbi. We've been gone for a while. We had a long break, a long summer break here. I got to be honest, I was going to go tell a little story, some exciting story of where we've really been, but I figure I'm going to stick with the truth, if you don't mind. Do you mind? Okay.
Okay, let's hear it.
Situation is, we've gone a little Hollywood since the last time we were in. The Jeff and the Rabbi show has really made it big, and Rabbi Freeman, I got to be honest, was a little embarrassed because of the style situation, and he didn't want to come back and wear black until after Labor Day. So that's what the thing was. He had this great seersucker light suit that he was wearing, which I love the number. That was great all summer long. But he felt style-wise, he didn't want to come back in the black suit here until after Labor Day. So that's what took so long.
Aside from that, I didn't want to show up till my beard had grown back.
That's true too. That's true too. So we're back, and we're feeling good. We got a lot of good stuff to talk about. Right in time for the holidays, by the way, which is exciting.
Blow the shofar.
This is big. So I'm wondering, the holidays. It's a big holiday, the biggest holiday for us. We're the chosen people. Here we're going out, and we've got our whole fate is decided.
That's
really
right.
in the next couple of weeks.
That's right.
For the whole next year. But the question is, what about the rest of the world? We've got to go out and repent. We've got to make teshuvah. We've got to do all this stuff. What about the rest of the world? What about the Gentiles in the world?
Yeah, this is, people think that Rosh Hashanah is a Jewish holiday. It's not. It's not. Rosh Hashanah is a universal holiday. Or, I shouldn't say that. Rosh Hashanah has universal significance.
Okay.
Right? It's a holiday for the Jews because we are told on the first day of the 7th month, you're supposed to blow the shofar. Okay? So that's what we do. First day of the 7th month, this guy up here is getting ready to blow the shofar. It's going to start on this coming Monday. Okay. What does it mean? It means that it's the beginning of the world. Well, if the world was created, that's pretty significant to everybody.
That's a big one.
Yeah. Big Bang or whatever you want to say happened. It happened at this time. That's really significant. And we're told that everyone is judged and inscribed, written down, inscribed, and then sealed on Rosh Hashanah for whatever events are going to transpire in your life in the coming year. And it's not just you or me, it's everyone. Everyone, everything, it's all written down. So it's very significant.
Well, doesn't that give us a little bit of an unfair advantage here because we're preparing for this?
Right. So you would think that here everyone doesn't know.
Right. This is something you should have gotten out
It's like the filing deadline is by Monday, and we're the only ones that know that that's the deadline. And everyone else is going to get excluded. So this is where it gets really interesting because we actually took a step back and got into Rosh Hashanah. That's what the Torah tells us to do. For the benefit of the whole world.
Why did you know that?
Yeah. Because we are busy doing Rosh Hashanah, and this is an old lesson to the world. If it's going to be a good year for the Jews, it'll be a good year for the whole world. The way the Jews go, the world goes. Good for the Jews, it's good for the whole world. That's why we're out there trying to make it a good world, good year. It's going to be good for everybody.
Wait. So you're saying my repenting, my teshuvah, my planning on next year is going to determine everybody else's year, like everyone else in the world.
Right. If you get inscribed well, it's kind of like trickle-down economics. Yeah, right. But, if you get inscribed well, then everyone else, if you're going to be doing well, and you're going to be prospering, and you're going to be living in a tranquil world, and you're going to be living in a peaceful world, and you're going to be living in a world where there's lots of good stuff happening, well, everyone else is living in the same world too. So everyone else is going to join and benefit in that.
I don't get enough respect.
Yeah.
That's a lot of responsibility I'm putting out there.
It is. Now, here's an idea that I wanted to share with you because it's really interesting. We, Jews, have our own Rosh Hashanah, which is really interesting because we don't celebrate our Rosh Hashanah. We have a Rosh Hashanah that we don't even celebrate. And we celebrate the universal Rosh Hashanah.
Didn't know that either.
See? There's another Rosh Hashanah. The Talmud tells us that God intended to create the world on the first day of the Hebrew month of Tishrei.
Okay.
But he didn't really create it till 7 months later on the first day of the Hebrew month of Nisan.
Okay.
Nisan's the month where Passover happened. And Passover is the holiday that introduced the Jewish people to the world. I mean, there were Jews around, but as a people, Exodus and all that stuff. That's our month. Really, our month is the Nisan month. Our month, the month where the Jewish people came into being, the Rosh Hashanah, as far as the creation of the world with Jews in it, is really Nisan world. Is really in the month of Nisan. The creation of the entire world is really the Tishrei world. We celebrate the Rosh Hashanah, not our particular Jewish beginning, but we celebrate the universal beginning.
Wow, okay.
So we're sort of like at one with all of mankind.
Interesting. So the whole so the concept. Why don't we talk first? What is the concept of Rosh Hashanah, and then we'll get back to how that affects the whole world.
So now here's another interesting thing. Everyone will tell you this is the creation of the world. When you go to the synagogue, and you can hear the guy blowing the shofar, and right after we're done blowing the shofar, everyone is going to say, Hayom Haras Olam. Today is the creation of the world. That's how it's probably translated. Hayom Haras Olam. Today is the creation of the world. But that world, or actually if you have the Sephardic pronunciation, it's Harat. Hey, Reish, Tuf.
Okay.
Actually, that doesn't mean creation. The word Haras means conception. Conception.
What's the difference there?
The difference for most people is 7 to 9 months.
Okay, I got you.
Right?
Sure, I got you. All right, that makes sense.
Okay, conception is when things get started,
I got you. Okay,
but it's not ready. You don't see anything. Nothing, no results yet. Right? No results. It's like this development. So the world was conceived on Rosh Hashanah. That's what the Talmud means when it says God thought to create the world. Okay. That means he started the conception. In concept, the world came in. That's when conception took place. 7 months later, it plays out in the actual birth.
Understand.
Okay? So it's really interesting that Rosh Hashanah is the beginning conception time of the world. Right. Now, why do we pay so much attention to that? And let me, by the way, back that up a little bit. We read about, on Rosh Hashanah, we go to the synagogue, you can read in the Torah reading the story of Sarah. Sarah didn't have any children. She was 90 years old. God remembered Sarah. Sarah became pregnant. She had long ago stopped having cycles, and she became like a young woman again. Her body regenerated. Right. And which, by the way, she didn't have a child from an old woman's body. She got a young woman's body again.
Okay, in other words, interesting.
Yeah. In other words, we don't believe in any immaculate conceptions. She got young again. She started getting a cycle, and she conceived, right? Normally, from Abraham. Right. Husband and wife. Now the miracle part was that her body got young again.
Well, that was obviously the miracle for Abraham, so that's probably
right. And Abraham too, right? Yeah, no. Miracle. He was old man. She was old woman. Right. Yet they got young again. But after that, she had a child in a normal fashion, father, mother, right, child. You get where I'm going. See where I'm at. Okay. Just want to make that little point, by the way. Okay.
Took me a minute, but I'm here.
Okay. All right. So, but it says that Sarah was remembered on Rosh Hashanah. Sarah was remembered on Rosh Hashanah. That means that Sarah didn't have a child on Rosh Hashanah. When did she have her child Isaac? Actually, 7 months later on Passover. Okay. There's that month again, that beginning, that month of Nisan, where that beginning of the Jewish people. Isaac, the first born Jewish child, born in the month of Nisan. Similarly, we read about the Hannah, the mother of Samuel the prophet. She also was remembered on Rosh Hashanah. What does that mean, remembered? Conceived. She didn't have the child until later. Okay. So it's very interesting if you stop and think about it. In the world, there is a conception period or a gestation period, and then there's birth. Why do we have to have that?
Well, that's a good question.
Why is there such a thing? Why don't you say, let's say, if it takes a man and a woman to get together and make a baby, and then, tonight you're together, tomorrow morning you have a baby.
Makes a lot more sense.
Why not?
That's fighting, I can guarantee you that.
Yeah, that's right.
Experience that.
That's right. So let it just happen. But everything's like that. You want an apple? It's the same way.
Plant the tree.
You got to plant the tree. You got to plant the seed. It's got to grow up. Everything. People have to grow up. Why don't people born adults? Right? Everything, there is a gestation period. There is a process. Rosh Hashanah is the beginning of the process.
Right.
The process culminates in Passover, in the month of Passover, in the month of Nisan, when it finds its fruition. And what's its fruition? The creation of something called the Jewish people. And the world is a setting. The world is like a studio.
Right.
And from that studio it produces something. What's the product it's supposed to produce? Ultimately, it produces the Jewish people. When it does that, the world has been successful, and everyone does well because of that. So every year, we get back to the beginning, the very, very beginning, when God just started, pulled the trigger. And we say, okay, so God says, how are you doing on this process? How are we all doing? How are you doing? How am I doing? He doing? The doorman, the guy at the gas station, everybody, how are we all doing? And then God says, okay, based on where we are, this is what we're going to need the next year to come up during the next year to move us forward towards our goal. I would bet you that the election coming up in November will be decided this Monday.
You think so? Well, I'm praying. I'm definitely praying.
I just said that because I want to get you in the synagogue.
Okay, I will definitely be there.
Yeah,
I will definitely
just going to be there a half hour before it starts.
And I'll be a half hour after it ends, too.
Right.
Make sure I got enough praying.
Send that over this prayer book, man.
Got to do that.
Yeah.
So so the whole situation is, now you say that obviously our fate were judged. Well, is the Gentile judged as well, though? He is judged.
I told you, the election.
Well, that's a good point.
You know.
That's a good point.
I mean, I know that I just saw the conventions, and it didn't look to me like either of the nominees were Jewish.
No, they definitely were not.
not by a far sight,
No.
So, but I think they're going to be judged,
But
just like we're going to be
on their
judged.
action, or they judge on our actions? Because you kind of said that a little bit ago, that we kind of
Right.
determine all of it.
That's right. So the interesting thing is, everyone's judged on their actions. However, there's really only one group out there trying to make amends, trying to make changes. Now, I'm going to be judged on my actions, and you're going to be judged on your actions. However, we are given an opportunity before sentencing to address the court.
That's true.
Right? That's the big deal. Listen, what I did. What you did. We're going to be judged on that, And what Mr. Obama did and what Mr. Romney did, they're going to be judged. We're all going to be judged on it. Except for the fact that whereas those guys are probably going to be out this coming Monday on the stump trying to get votes, right?
Well, obviously, I will be too, but I'll be sitting.
Right. That's right. So we're going to be in the synagogue, and we're going to be given an opportunity. Before sentencing is passed, do you have anything you'd like to say to the court? Would you like to address the court? And we're going to say, yeah! And we're going to take out the shofar, we're going to blow the shofar, and hear that sound, and we're going to say, yes, I want God. Please inscribe me for life. I've got good things I want to do. I feel bad about some of the things I did. I know I can clean it up this year. I know I can do better, and so on and so forth. And therefore, even though we're all going to be judged on what we did, all, meaning everybody in the world, however, we may have an opportunity. We do have an opportunity, and we may be successful in improving our position. And if we do that, then that really can improve the position of the whole world. Otherwise, God would have said in the Torah that everyone needs to go and pray on Rosh Hashanah. But God didn't say that to the world. It's not one of the 7 mitzvahs that all the world has to embrace.
Right.
It's only a Jewish mitzvah. So therefore, God figures if the Jews get in and clean up their act, and He writes them down for good things are going to come their way, and it'll be good for the whole world.
Okay, what's interesting though is obviously with a Jew, even if our fate is determined on Rosh Hashanah, we still have time to change it. We still can, before it's sealed, right? We still have time to change it. Does a Gentile have that same thing? If he's sealed for a fate, or if his fate is determined before Rosh Hashanah, can he also change his fate?
Well, It's possible. It is possible. This is the way it works about changing your fate.
Right.
On Rosh Hashanah, everyone that is majority bad is written in for a bad year. Now, what that means, maybe I'll get to in just a minute. Everyone that's majority good is written in for a good year. Everyone who's 50-50 has the next 10 days to try to tip the scales.
Oh, so it's only the 50-50 guys.
Right. Now, we're all supposed to view ourselves as though we're 50-50.
Okay.
I mean, no one should be so depressed as to throw in the towel.
Like, I'm done.
Right.
Nothing I can
But
do.
on the other hand, no one should be so smug as to think that they got it in the bank already and they can just mail it home.
Right.
So don't try that. You know, it's backfired on a few people. So we play it as though we're 50-50.
Right.
You know? So this is the where they say, you know, don't go into the prevent defense.
Right.
You know, like to say, the only thing it prevents you from doing is winning.
Right.
So, you know, you play it as though you got to win.
Still throw the ball.
Right. Keep playing it down till the last. You got 10 more days. Play it till the end. Now, the fact is, it might be true for other people too, except we're the only ones that have been told about this whole scale. So we get out there and we do it, and we really do feel a certain sense of responsibility, as Jews always do, because this whole chosen people thing doesn't mean chosen to have a bunch of privileges and to step on everyone else and take advantage of everyone else. It really means a tremendous sense of responsibility and an opportunity to better the lot of everyone. And that's why we're out there.
That's interesting. The question came in right here, and the question is, if we are judged as wicked in the book of death, does that mean that we die this year? Because, you know, you look around and you see a lot of people did a lot of bad stuff. Jews, non-Jews did a lot of bad stuff, and they're hanging around the next year and the year after that too.
That's right.
So that the whole thing is, if the balance is wrong, are we gone that year?
So first of all, it is possible that the wicked guy or the righteous guy that you and I see is maybe not.
Wow.
That's always possible, you know, because we don't really know what goes on behind closed doors and so on and so forth. But let's just assume that the guy that looks wicked is wicked and the guy that looks righteous is righteous. Let's just assume that. So, even so, what that means is God is going to plan out a life for this person that is consistent, or that is what he needs to go to where he's going. So, therefore, let's say you've got a certain righteous person, okay? Now, this righteous person is headed on a track to become really, really holy and really, really great.
Okay.
That might mean that he needs to win the lottery, or that might mean that a loved one in his family gets sick. See, it's all, God says, based on your trajectory, where you're going, he's going to decide what you need next. And sometimes to us, what the good guy needs, or the bad guy needs, might not be what we would think, but based on God's view of it. For example, let's say a guy's really, really bad. And God says, you know what? This guy's down the tubes. So I'm just going to have him meet with a whole bunch of financial success or, you know, worldly success, so that it never ever crosses his mind to repent. And he'll just do whatever he's going to do, and we'll get him out of this world. And it could very well be that the righteous guy needs to acquire or overcome certain adversity, or needs to rectify a certain weakness that he has. And therefore God's going to write him out a certain challenge in life, which will help him rectify something. So it's really good what he needs. But that's because he's on the fast track.
So it's not necessarily going to happen this year then. So I know we say our fate of next year, but if the guy decides, like, say, the wicked man is going to achieve all the success, that it might be a 3 or 4 or 5 year process that he's planning for him. Right?
It could be this year also, because let's say you have a bunch of students in the class. You're a teacher, you have a number of students in the class, and you see that one of those kids is really outstanding. You might start sending him harder problems and more challenging assignments, because you know that's really what this kid needs. Whereas the other kid who's really failing, and you've sized up, this kid's not going anywhere. So you start easing up on him, because, you know, okay, like, why should I put him through the pain?
Right.
You know, what do I need to put him through the pain for? We'll go easy on him. We'll just get him by. Yeah, well, you know, like they may teach you, they just pass him. pass him. This kid's not going to get it anyway. But the other kid, you really give him hard stuff. He's going to work like crazy, but it's really good for him.
That makes sense. All right, we got another question. Interesting. Okay, do Jews get judged as a nation together or as individuals? And if God judges us a certain way, how does that affect everyone else?
Right. So the first thing is, we want to be judged as a nation.
Right.
There's safety in numbers. Safety in numbers.
Could be safety numbers or problems in numbers as well.
But that's true. You have to take on the fate of the Jewish people.
Right.
But we always feel no one wants to go it alone. No. You don't want to show up in front of God and say, you know what, let's take all the Jews out of here, just me, because I don't want to be judged with the rest of those Jews. Well, who says that I've done so many good things in my life? Now, if I'm judged with the rest of the Jewish people, there's certain baseline guarantees. For example, Jewish people will not be destroyed.
Got that going for you.
That's a really good thing,
That's a big
right?
one.
And the Jewish people have patriarchs, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and God loves the patriarchs. So you can cash in on that, right? There's a lot of things you can invoke.
That we can
Right. You can pull down. You got self-sacrifice from so many generations. So there's a lot of things you can invoke to help you out. You want to go it alone? Okay, just, read my record.
That's tough.
Well, I don't know. It's scary. That's why they say, by the way, if you can't get to the synagogue and you're going to pray at home, try to pray at the same time the synagogue is praying. Because you want to throw your lot in with the group. We always feel that there's safety with the group. Now, it is true, sometimes the Jewish people take it on the chin. And a lot of individuals get hit just because they were part of the group.
So that does happen. They get hit even if they live their righteous life.
Right. You could take a hit because the group is getting a hit, and we'll all suffer for it. Listen, you're playing on a team, right? And one guy blows it, he fumbles, he strikes out, whatever it is, the whole team suffers. Now, when the guy comes back to the bench, if everyone starts dumping on him, the team's going to fall apart.
That's true.
So you got to say, all right, good try, and you got to just, the next guy's got to get up there and says, okay, I got to do it for the team.
Wow.
It is a team sport. You want it to be a team sport. It's too dangerous to take it on your own.
Right. Listen, I'm getting tired of carrying the water out here. I need some help.
Yeah.
The team here.
Right.
It's tough. Well, here's probably the big question here. Everybody's watching this and understands we're talking about judgment. It's going to be bad. It's going to be good. The real question, I guess, that everybody really needs to know or wants to know is what can you really do to change a bad judgment? I mean, what can you really do? And what can you?
Right.
And is the judgment so bad and I've done so bad that I can't change it, or can I always change it? And what is it specifically that I need to do?
So I'll share with you two ideas, both of which I think are extremely effective. Number one, to change a bad judgment, you have to come to terms with the fact that it isn't bad, which means that God doesn't punish for the sake of punishing. He doesn't take out the whip and just whip you because you're bad. God is always trying to improve people.
Unless you're going to die, then he's not really trying to improve you too much.
You know what? Maybe it's time. It's time. The last I've seen, the best of my knowledge, everyone dies.
So far.
Yeah, so far.
Working on it. But yeah.
That's right. So, unless some Japanese guy that's like 100 and whatever it is, Right. But then again, all the guy does is eat a piece of fish and a bowl of rice every day. That's to me, that's like being dead. Right. That's all you can do. So, anyway, if you embrace the fact that whatever God has in mind for you is good, it's for you to help you improve, to help you rectify, and to help you grow, then God can say, oh, then I guess I don't even need to do it, because the only reason I was going to send this adversity your way was to help you come and understand that you need this to grow. But you've already growing, because you already got it.
Now, that's a good point. That's a real good point.
Okay. So therefore, and when we blow the shofar, it says we blow the shofar a couple of times, and we blow the shofar to disrupt the Satan. What does that mean, disrupt the Satan? So we call for judgment before the trial even opens. And we say, we want to be judged. We like this idea. We want to be judged. If we got problems, if we have faults, if we have failings, we want to be judged. We want God to decide what's going to be with us. And we accept our fate because we know that if God dishes it out, it's good for us. So that's number one. The best way to make things better is to accept that what God has in mind is good.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
The second way is to stop focusing so much on all the stuff that we're afraid is going to happen to us and start thanking God for all the goodness.
Okay.
So when you come in front on Rosh Hashanah, you see that as opposed to Yom Kippur, there isn't a lot of like chest beating, I did this sin, I did that. You don't see any of that. What you do see on Rosh Hashanah is God is the king, God's the creator, may God be great, I want to see God be greater. And what we're supposed to do is go, thank you, God. You know, plenty of oxygen to breathe, has enough water. Ever since I've been a little kid, there's been enough water around. Right. You've been taking care of me, you grow, you found me, good people that I'm surrounded with, people that have helped me. I have children, I have parents, I have, whatever it is. I've been able to make a living. Maybe one guy's not making a living, still has air to breathe, still healthy. Maybe one guy's not healthy, but he still has money. So, everyone's got things. So focus on the goodness and thank God for that and realize that. And if you're doing that, then God say, well, why should I shock him with bad? I think I'll send some more good this way, because since he's clearly appreciating it, we'll send some more good his way. So, two prongs. Number one, accept the fact that whatever is designed for us was designed, tailor-made for us, not to hurt us, but to improve us, even if it hurts at the time. Number two, thank, be grateful.
But so is this not the time for introspection, where we should think deeply, like, wait a minute, I'm doing this wrong, I better change this, or is that in the next 10 days?
Actually, it starts off with Rosh Hashanah.
Okay.
It starts off with Rosh Hashanah. But really, Rosh Hashanah is more of a time for thank you and recognition that, God, you're in control, than it is for, I did this wrong, I did that wrong. Once we realize that God is in control, then we start to say, well, okay, then how do I match up? And then we take a step back and we start doing introspection. But first thing is recognize God's in control, and the way we do that is by tabulating our goodness and thanking God for it.
It's not that difficult of a plan here.
No. And you get to go home by midday and have a nice lunch.
Which is pretty good.
Better than Yom Kippur.
Right, yeah. And were you allowed to turn the TV on after that or not? Can't do that, okay.
Don't worry about it.
Okay.
Don't worry about it. The real show is in the synagogue.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure.
Right.
Well, this is good. So let's see if I can summarize what
wrap it up.
One, I like the last 2 points I think are really big. Okay, so this is what we got to do. We want to make sure we're hopefully sealed there for, or at least entered in the book for a good life. We got to, one, realize that what's going to happen is for our own good.
Right.
And number two, what's the other one?
It's such a long list.
I forgot already.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah,
Thank. Show gratitude.
So, and then the last thing we really got to realize here is we got more responsibility than we thought. So,
yes.
So all the Gentiles out there,
everyone is going to be
weight.
Everyone is going to be inscribed, but this is a very important time for all the Jews to think about the fate of the entire world. We're not celebrating Rosh Hashanah in the month of Nisan, which is when the Jews showed up in the world.
Right.
We're celebrating back in Tishrei when the world was conceived, and therefore it's a much more universal idea than a particular Jewish idea.
Wow. All right. So big stuff here, big responsibilities. Right. Probably cancel all those extra plans of going out on next Saturday or Sunday. Next Sunday you probably want to get to shul. Probably a good idea. Right.
And I'll tell you what, as soon as this show's over, we're going to take the piece of cork out of that shofar so that guy can actually, look, he looks like his ears are going.
He's right by my ear here, so I'm a little worried. Let's hold on until after the show.
Right.
All right, this is good stuff. So I guess will we be back next Monday? We can be.
Yeah.
Monday's good.
Monday's good. Monday. Wait a second. No. Rosh Hashanah. Rosh Hashanah. Not unless you're broadcasting live from the synagogue.
Can we not do that?
I don't think so.
Do that. All right. So the week after that.
The week after that, in between Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur.
We'll be back.
Okay.
All right.